Yes, welcome everyone to the second day of this ambitious event where we have covered a lot of different topics yesterday, more the academic part today. And we announced it already yesterday that what all this means in practice, we will hear about on the second day when we have an international dimension. I mean, the first panel that talks about sustainable investment, and we will have different regional perspectives from Asia, from Latin America and Africa. And then in the afternoon, we will really become familiar with the innovative economic ecosystem of Baden. And I'm very happy about this partnership and very proud. Here you see the partners. I just used the slide from yesterday, but with the two keynote welcome addresses, briefly, Rico Baldegger, the president of Sustainability Foundation. We, as the Center for Corporate Responsibility, are actually part of this foundation. It was created in 2003 by the president of the University of Zurich, and eventually we moved to the School of Management Fribourg 2022, and Rico became the new president, and we as an institute owe him a lot. And then Thomas Lütolf, he's the head of Kontaktstelle Wirtschaft, I would say Economic Promotion Agency of the region of Baden. It's a great partnership we have, and he will give you the welcome address from the Baden perspective. So afterwards we will have a welcome address by Stefan Tochev. He's the CEO of MDPI AG. Without this partnership, this all wouldn't have been possible. It's the logistics, the administration, the competencies of this organization was absolutely crucial in making this happening. And we also planned conference proceedings. Thanks, you will hear it from Stefan Tochev what MDPI is all about. It's the third largest publisher, open access publisher in the world. And generally, I made a very good experience. And then we have Pascal Bruderer. I hope, is she already here? I hope she will be on time. She's vice president of ETH Zurich. She grew up here in Baden. And she will give also a brief perspective combining the global and the local. And then finally, we have this panel it's headed by Markus Reubi. He is the head des Nachhaltigkeitsbeauftragten des Bundes. That's the Swiss, the German term. It's the Federal Council Delegate for the Agenda 2030. And he will be in charge of this panel. I will not go into details. He will introduce the speakers, but it's about investment in resilience and different regional perspectives we will hear about. Then the break, and finally the keynote by Eleni Gebre-Martin. I met her a couple of years ago. She achieved, it was an amazing achievement. She created the Ethiopia Commodity Exchange, 4 million small-scale farmers that benefit, that for the first time could sell their crop for a decent price. She created a whole infrastructure for the country that also made it more resilient when it came to a food crisis. But yeah, I won't go into details here. We will have a wrap-up by Antonio Hautle. He's the CEO of Global Compact Switzerland Liechtenstein, putting everything into the perspective of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Then there will be lunch. And finally, the resilience in practice part in the afternoon. We will hear from Nora Thuysen, CEO of ABB, or the chairman of the executive board of ABB Switzerland, who will talk about from Baden 2.0 to Baden 4.0. And what that also concretely means will be illustrated by 3 prominent speakers representing 2 companies that are quite innovative in the region, Dectris and Varian Medical Systems. And then finally, Marianne Krak will talk about the health cluster of the region of Baden with the Kantonsspital Baden as the sort of hub of the whole cluster. But without further ado, I hand over now to Rico, and then we'll hear an introductory remark also by Thomas. Many thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Philip. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a nice day yesterday, and I think I got a lot of, I can say a lot of inspirations from different sectors, and even about the topic, resilience and uncertainty. Clearly, I will, let's say, not give you a topic on whatever it is from a science perspective, more from a business perspective. And we can even look on the topic on the philosopher perspective. And I will be brief, no problem in this way. From a business perspective, resilience and, let's say, scenario planning, it's not new. Let's say it's an old concept, in the last 40, 50 years, And clearly what is always one, let's say, we can say, recommendation is you need different scenarios. That is obvious. Not only a plan A or scenario A, we need probably at least B and C and D. And I think it's quietly, an important task. And in one hand, not an easy task. I think it's really, from my side, a little bit the topic what I like to focus on. Let's say what we need for a good scenario planning is clearly to scope the risk. Hence the risk, what are really the major risk? And we have today, let's say we have multiple risks at the moment, and that makes it higher challenging. And we know from research, we developed, let's say, a new topic, it's called human entrepreneurship. From a philosopher perspective saying, let's say, to be an entrepreneur is not only to create economic value, it is to create even societal resilience and inclusive innovation. So, but clearly it's easy to say it is important. And we have a lot, typically in sustainability, even I'm working on the topic of sustainability in 30 years, and there's a lot of great theories, but not so many actions. Even when I discovered today, even as president of the foundation, it's not easy to convince companies or, let's say, people to invest in sustainability. To speak about it, yes, that is great. But then to take action, that is, let's say, another topic. And in our opinion, we need to, on one hand, let's say, a mind shift to promote it. In our opinion, let's say, discussing about sustainability and even about resilience, we had more a defensive strategy as a constraint, and we are not going even not in a topic of the conference. One part of the conference topic is opportunity setting, the opportunity mindset. So we have to take it as an opportunity, not as only a constraint. You have to do it. So you have to develop you as an organization, as an SME, as whatever it is, even as a public organization, as a positive opportunity to create values, societal values. I think is that even our goal to promote it. It could be as an entrepreneur, could be as a leader, could be as an educator, let's say a mind shift setting. And what quite interesting is to see, even CCRS, they developed an ESG to-go tool for SMEs. And then let's say when you are discussing with company why you're doing it, they're always explaining from a constrained way why the big company, let's say, like to have it. So, but they have to change the narrative in a positive way. I think it's quite an important mindset, and let's say, in our opinion, it's even important what is the human capital behind. So people acting for it. And I'd like to give you a little metaphor, let's say, proposed by a philosopher, Federico Faccin, who invented the microprocessor. He was before more a techie guy, and now in the last 30 years, he spent all his research on consciousness, What is the human being is based on consciousness. And let's say he promoted even in relation to AI. What is, let's say, unique selling proposition of the human being in the future is consciousness, That is the unique selling proposition in the future. And that we have to, let's say, to foster it and let's say to build it in, let's say, in the whole society. And this kind of consciousness, even let's say I say it's a bet with David Chalmers, another philosopher, that is not possible, that computers have in the future consciousness in this way. So when I saw this part of research, then it was for me clear. There must be a unique static proposition for leaders in the future, for every organization to build on it. That we have a unique selling proposition, not to be copy-paste, let's say, by we have even had a discussion yesterday. You saw it. So, in this way, even not from a constrained perspective, to, let's say, to change the narrative, to do it as an opportunity-setting perspective. And then I think this is part of message we have even to give to young people. I think what we need, let's say, to convince the young people there's even a future of it, and to do a final, let's say, reflection about it. I'm a dad of young kids, and even have a discussion yesterday with my son. He's working in let's say, in finance. And it's clear, this kind of field is even attacked by AI tools. And he's a little bit scared. Hey, what is my future? As an employee, as a leader, what can I do? And we have quite a good discussion, what is his uniqueness in the future? Is his empathy, his consciousness, and his creative thinking for the future, to be ready for different scenarios. And hopefully we are all ready for different scenarios. In this way, I wish you a great day and a lot of inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rico. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Mayor, I warmly welcome you to Baden. I'm delighted that Baden, as a business location, has the opportunity to present itself as an exciting example of economic resilience today. First of all, perhaps this very place here, this room, is a nice example of resilience. The name Druckerei means that some time ago a daily newspaper was printed here. The location is currently flourishing as an events venue. Newspapers printing presses are a shrinking market. I would like to emphasize, however, that the media company still exists today. More and more digitized, the family-owned CH Media has even become one of the big five in Swiss media industry. Now, the development of the Baden location had begun early, thanks to a gift from nature, the many 47 degrees Celsius hot springs with mineral-rich thermal water. It had started when the ancient Romans settled here and built thermal baths 2,000 years ago. In the Middle Ages, Baden became a diplomatic center and a renowned European spa settlement. After a hard day on the political benches, there was nothing more relaxing than a bath in the 47 degrees thermal water. However, spa tourism experienced its last heyday well over 100 years ago. Even though 47, the new thermal bath designed by star architect Mario Botta, has made our city a popular spa destination once again. Fortunately, in the late 19th century, industrialization took over as the new source of economy. Did you know that the present-day global corporation ABB was founded by Charles Brown and Walter Boveri as a startup in Baden, 1891. The transformation of Baden is currently moving at a brisk pace and maintaining the location's status as a leading international high-tech hub. The question is, why has our location proven so resilient time and time again? Of course, being in direct proximity to the major economic center of Zurich is a big part of it. The labor market and the business environment are healthy, and infrastructure costs are comparatively low. These location strengths are reflected in the UBS ranking table, in which Baden places 9th out of 106 ranked economic regions. But these local strengths are no guarantee by themselves of long-term resilience. So what is? Success should lie in the region having a healthy self-image, which has gradually matured over time and allows it to adapt to overarching trends without ever losing its own identity. Here, that used to come from nature's gift of thermal water, and now it is due to the engineering expertise the region has acquired. It is always about bringing the region into close contact with the wider world and maintaining that contact. At the cultural level, the internationally renowned Badenfahrt, meaning driving from Zurich to Baden for a festival, is a striking expression of that connection to the outside, bringing in over 1 million visitors every time. We are very proud of this 10-day folk festival, organized through an enormous amount of volunteer work. It is the best expression of the fact that Baden, which has only around 23,000 inhabitants, but more than 30,000 employees, is not overshadowed by Zurich and can step into the spotlight under its own steam. At the same time, the region center does benefit from the strength of the agglomeration, which has over 150 inhabitants. I have witnessed time and time again how this tranquility and this internationality have completed each other and developed over a long period into a steady strength. This combination promotes diversity, which is known to accelerate innovation. The economic region is not tied to a single industry. The fact that leading global medtech firms feel every bit at home here, as energy and electronic firms, shows the stabilizing effect of this internationally unique engineering cluster. The understanding to develop cross-industry competences is also prevailing now more than ever. The state sector is assuming a coordinating role in this regard. Almost 3 years ago now, we launched the Baden 4.0 initiative. The name of this public-private partnership is obviously a play on the fourth industrial revolution. The private partners from the economy, R&D, and education include some prestigious names like ABB, Acceleron, Axpo, Dectris, GE Vernova, Hitachi, Infosys, Siemens Healthineers, Schneider Electric, Digital Switzerland, Park Innovare, Paul Scherrer Institute, and many more. Together, we are aiming to bolster the region's innovative power and thus strengthen its resilience. The canton of Aargau is also involved, as it has a considerable interest in developing its largest economic region. Baden 4.0 is designed not to protect structures, but to seize opportunities through collaboration. Our shared aim is to create sustainable change over the long term. That sounds quite theoretical, but it isn't really. The only way to convince the economic partners to invest a mid-size figure sum every year is with specific measures. The public sector contributes just as much as local politics, is a firm believer in the added value of clustering competences. Some examples of implemented and approved measures for Baden 4.0 include: first, the Health Innovation Hub Aargau. It promotes innovation in the fields of digital health, medtech, and healthcare. The project also helps create added value and jobs through its aim of establishing a strong startup and product development scene at Baden Cantonal Hospital. Second, the first summer school of Baden 4.0 took place last August. Over 5 days, students gained spectacular insights into the latest technologies in the fields of robotics, automation, and data science, and solved challenges on site at 3 leading technology companies. And finally, third, brand new this January, the power plant space will open. It is a physical location for promoting technical and creative innovation to connect startup with the industry. Baden is keen to promote the pioneer spirit that Charles Brown and Walter Boveri awakened with BBC well over 100 years ago. My conclusion: I am proud that Baden 4.0 will soon complete its 4-year pilot phase and transfer into normal operation at the end of this year. We will transition the project into regular operation. Baden 4.0 will furthermore help the highly specialized market for skilled workers thrive in the future. Baden is a location that has been in constant transformation for 140 years and ensures that its companies can position themselves as the providers of world-class engineering services. I hope you have an inspiring second day and gain some fascinating insights here in Baden. Thank you for coming to Baden today. Heartfelt thanks also to the organizing committee and its guiding light, Philipp Erni, for your very enjoyable collaboration and your interest in Baden 4.0. Thanks a lot.